This is the iPad 2 flex cable replacement video, and as you can see in this picture, the flex cable from this iPad was damaged. I'll show you a better shot here in a second. This is pretty common if the lens is badly broken at the top of the iPad. You can see right there where the cable is cut, kind of a poor design, but they did improve this on the iPad 3. However, if you're working with an iPad 2, you're going to run into this once in a while. So what we're going to do here is take this replacement piece and remove all the old hardware and the old flex cable and put this one inside. And as you can see, that'll have the lock button, the switch there, and then the volume controls all in one piece that connect on the bottom with a pop connector. And it's not so difficult. It's just kind of, once again, very complex, and maybe I should say it is slightly difficult because manipulating this cable without breaking it can be a little bit tricky. So you can see these are adhesived in. There's a series of screws. There's a rubber gasket here at the top that we have to take off to get to the power button. And before we can do that, we have to take off the main camera. So this little rubber piece will come off. It's just got some adhesive underneath it. And then we've got a couple screws here that go in diagonally towards the edge of the iPad, and another one on the right hand side that does the same thing. So you want to start by removing these two screws at the top, and of course keep these in order as usual. They are different sizes. You don't want to get any of these screws mixed up. And these are the two that hold the power button in place. And then we've got one down here on the side of the main camera. We're going to go ahead and remove that one, and that'll allow us to take this little metal panel off of the back side of the camera. Just be real careful if you're poking around here with tweezers. You don't want to poke anything or knock any chips off of the PCB in that area. And it looks like I went ahead and skipped to the other two screws here that hold the volume controls in place. There's a black metal plate here that's going to come out right now. And we can set that aside. And then again, we have a screw that kind of goes in diagonally towards the edge of the tablet. Kind of a funny angle there. Go ahead and take that one out. And then you can see there's a piece of hardware here that actually holds the volume and that little switch on top into position. And that can come off again. The cable's already torn, so we're not really worried about preserving this. If you were trying to move it off of this tablet to another one, and there's our volume rocker, you would want to heat this up and be very careful. I'm just tearing it out because I'm not really worried about damaging this flex cable. It's already broken, but you do want to be careful when you remove the pop connector at the bottom because it has a piece of tape that goes over the top of it. So you want to go ahead and get under this little piece here. It's got some adhesive that holds it onto the edge. And then there's all kinds of sticky stuff on the back of the flex cable that holds it up against the edge of the tablet. And then down here, what we've got is a black piece of tape that kind of goes over a connector. So again, you want to be very careful in this area. And what I'd recommend is you get something, go ahead and heat it up. If you can, try to peel it off. It's really tough because the edge that you need to peel is kind of hidden under the inside here. But you can actually go in and just kind of tear that tape. Just be real careful when you're doing it. You want to make sure you're only tearing that thing that's covering this here. You might want to go with something a little bit sharper. And once you get it started, you can kind of just rip along the edge and then lift it up, and you'll see that there's a pop connector hidden underneath this black tape. And you can see the cable actually tore right there. So once we get that disconnected, you can go ahead and pull this out. Again, it's going to stick to the back of that tape. But if you're very careful, you should be able to preserve the stuff that's in there, and that way we can kind of tape down the new connector once we have installed the cable. And there's our connector. Here we've got this little metal panel that could have come out earlier, but at any point go ahead and remove that, and then you'll have another pop connector here that attaches your camera on the inside. Just go ahead and remove that, set it aside, and you've got a plastic housing that the camera sits inside, and it's got one more screw there on the left hand side that we'll have to take out. And once you do that, you can go ahead and pull out this plastic piece, and that's going to allow us to remove the hardware that goes behind the power button. Just very careful. And kind of take note of what position these are in when you remove them. I'm going to show you the reassembly, or the installation actually, of this cable. But always a good idea to make sure you know which direction these things are facing when you take them out. And just so you can see, the power button itself has a little metal piece, kind of a clip that goes around and faces down when it's fully extended or fully bent towards the button. So I'm just going to pull this out far enough so you can see what this looks like, because if you get it backwards, it will not fit inside. Now we got some more of the old cable here that I'm just removing. Again, that just kind of peels out. And just so you can see it, there's the volume button itself. Remember, the metal clip is going to be pointing down rather than up. Will not go in properly the other direction. And now what we need to do now is transfer the flex cable, basically remove the old hardware, these metal pieces that were on the old flex cable, and put them onto the new piece. So I'm going to heat that up a little bit, and then we'll just peel it off. It's got some light adhesive underneath it, and unfortunately the adhesive that comes with your new flex cable generally is not going to be all that strong, so sometimes you have to replace some of the adhesives. They do come pre-installed, but by the way, there's a little rubber piece there, as you saw, that I just removed from the bottom, and that just wraps over the flex cable just below the power button. Not sure why that's there, but probably to pad the flex so it doesn't get damaged. So once you pull that piece off, you can actually just go under here and kind of pry this out, either with a pry tool or a razor blade if you're very careful, and just pull that away. Just like that. And what I like to do is immediately attach this to my new piece so we can keep track of everything and make sure we have it in the correct position. So you'll see the wax paper here on the back. This is just kind of the annoying part of this, is you've got to peel this stuff off, and it's kind of tricky to get a hold of, and if it doesn't stick the first time, generally you're going to have to go back and put some new adhesive on here. And later on you'll see that that did not stick as well as I thought it did, so I had to go ahead and remount, put some new adhesive on it. And again, we've got this little rubber piece. Go ahead and put that back where it was. And now we get to move the volume button hardware over. You can kind of see how that goes on. And this is actually the switch here on the side, and I'm kind of doing this as I go. So I've actually still got the volume buttons connected, but I'm going to go ahead and detach and then install the new switch right there, so you can see exactly where that goes. And of course from here we'll just continue on down and remove the old volume buttons and put these onto the correct location. And as you go, you can just kind of peel off that wax paper and apply the new adhesive, or stick the cable to the hardware rather. You don't have to do it this way, obviously. If you want, you can remove the whole piece from the flex cable. I just wanted to make sure everything stayed in order. And hopefully this is apparent as far as how it's going to be installed. And there you have it. So now we're going to go ahead and install this into the iPad. And make sure that your switch is in the same position on the side of the tablet as it is on the flex cable, so that it goes into the proper channel. If you don't do that, you're going to have some trouble, have to take it out and put it back in again. So I put mine in the up position. As long as you match the same position, it doesn't matter whether it's up or down. And what I like to do is start here with the pop connector at the bottom. And you'll see once that's connected, all of this remaining wax paper can kind of peel off as you work your way up the cable and stick it into the edge of the tablet there. And this little square piece that goes over the top here, I actually had to go back and put some more adhesive on this. It was pretty weak. And when I went to put everything together, it was just kind of flopping around. So I did put some new 3M adhesive on this piece. You can see the thinner stuff kind of holds pretty well. But if you have anything heavy, it seems like the adhesive they use just isn't always strong enough. We peel these off, and then we can go ahead and put our volume rocker back inside. Make sure that's in the right position. And then you can kind of see the way the volume buttons go inside. Pretty tough to make a mistake with that. You can also see how the cable wraps around the top of the frame there. And when they manufacture these things, they actually put adhesive on the entire lens all the way around the perimeter, and it sticks to these flex cables, which is why you end up having that problem where they tear if you're not really careful, or if you have a particularly bad shatter right in this area. It's pretty tough to get them off when they're really broken badly. So you want to make sure these buttons are popping when you click on them. Make sure they come back. And make sure also, of course, that your switch is operational. And then we have our metal retaining clip here that holds that in position. In addition to that one angled screw down at the bottom of the volume controls. And then the top end here is kind of interesting. This cable kind of snakes its way around the outside of the frame. You'll have to take a look at the video to really understand. It's difficult to explain, but you want to work this up until the power button is in the correct position, and then of course it tucks under that little metal ledge on the edge of the frame. And again, remember to take off all this wax paper so that the adhesive will stick. And you can see that my adhesive on this one is not holding up, so in a minute here I'm going to have to go ahead and reapply some 3M on this so that we can get this thing to stay in one piece. Alright, so I've put some new adhesive on here so this thing will stay, hopefully. And then we're going to tuck that under the end. And we can go ahead and put our 2 screws back in. Make sure your power button is functional. And then we want to try to get this flex cable over to the side as much as possible so that the camera does not pinch this cable at all. And once we're satisfied that that's all clear from this piece, we can go ahead and install the camera hardware. And of course, we'll want to plug in the LCD and the lens before we put any adhesive onto the lens. Make sure the camera volume, all the controls, everything that we've come into contact with is in fact functioning properly before we finish or before we put the adhesive on and install the lens, because once we do that, it's never fun to take them off again. And there you have it. If you found the video helpful, hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Twitter or Facebook. Post your questions in the comments section below or visit gocellphonerepair.com/forum. Thanks for watching.